Good morning and welcome to my show. I'm your host, Danny Graham, and I both invite and encourage you to walk with me on the road to wisdom. It's a new week, y'all. Let's walk. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the 265th episode of the Road to Wisdom. Of course, I'm your host, Danny Graham. Thank you for joining me. As you can see right here below, today's topic is going to be whose house do you want to live in? Let me see that one more time. Whose house do you want to live in? Now, being a homeowner and being a man of the house, I've said many times, and I've heard many times in the past other people say it, including my family members, friends, other men that that own houses. They'll say, "This is my house and my rules. If you don't like it, there's your door." I've said that several times to my daughter when she makes me upset or angry, and my grandchildren. Hey, this is my house, my rules. This is your home, but this is my house. I pay for this house. These are the rules. If you can't follow those rules, then you need to find elsewhere. How many times have we said that? How many times have been told of us when we were living in our parents' house or somebody else's house? Hey, if they don't like things you do, they'll tell you quickly, this is my house, my rules. I pay the bills here. If you don't like it, then there's the door. Well, the definition of house in the real world is a building for human habitation, especially one that is lived in by a family or a small group of people. That's the definition of a house. It can be a board house, a brick house, mobile home, different kind of houses, yurts, apartments, all different kind of houses, shapes, colors, whatever. Some is a little small square feet, some are huge, humongous square feet, thousands of square feet. But a house is basically a dwelling where people live and habitat in, family members, friends, a group of people, whatever the case may be, whatever the scenario may be. That's what a house is mainly for, somewhere for people to live at. Now, the Bible talks about how Jesus said he's going back to create houses for us, and we will dwell there where his Father dwells. Um, I'm paraphrasing, but in my house there are many mansions, is said in the Bible. And Jesus said that he goes to prepare a place for us. And if we are lucky enough to get through judgment day, and God says, "Welcome home, my good and faithful servant," we're allowed to go into heaven, and we're going to live in a fantastic house. But guess what? In order to get there, we have to follow certain rules, certain regulations, certain doctrines. We have to live a certain way. Because if we try to live the way that this world wants us to live, we're not going to be living in Jesus' house. I can tell you that right now. You're going to be living in a house, but it ain't going to be the house of God, or the house of the Lord. It's going to be the house of Satan. It's going to be mighty hot, no air conditioning, no kind of comfort, any kind of miserable thing you can think of. That's what you're going to be dealing with for eternity. Let that sink in. Any kind of discomfort. You know how agitated we get if our air conditioning goes out here now in the summertime, or our heat goes out in the wintertime. You know how agitated we get. Do you know how we move heaven and earth to get that air conditioning man here or get that heat man here or whatever the case may be if our house isn't a certain temperature or our air conditioner not working? We all been through that. Think about if we don't follow the rules that God put in place for us, we don't read the Bible, we don't live that righteous life, we don't live that humble life, we don't follow the rules and regulations, the commandments that God has set forth for us, we're going to live somewhere we can call all we want to. We're not going to get any kind of satisfaction, any kind of comfort, any kind of air. We're going to get an eternity of living in total hell, in total discomfort, in total darkness, in total whatever miserable thing that you can imagine. Multiply that time a million, and that's going to be hell. Who in their right mind will want to live in those kind of conditions? But some people are going to live in those kind of conditions because they don't want to make the right choice. They want to live in their house where they pay the bills, they call the shots. But if you want to live in God's house, you're going to have to follow what he says, what he tells us to do. And the question I'm going to pose again, whose house do you want to live in? You want to live in your house where you're the ruler, You're going to live in God's house where you have to be the servant and listen to and obey and worship him. The second choice sounds so much better to me than the first choice. Yeah, here on earth, which is not my permanent home, I do own this house. I do pay the bills. I do make the rules. But guess what? If I want to go to God's house, I'm going to have to follow his rules and his regulations. And if we don't follow his rules and regulations, we will not find our name in the book of life. That's going to be a very, very sad moment. It's going to sink in. When you're not in the book of life and God says, I know you're not going to want to hear those words. It's not going to be like you see on the courthouse where a person is being dragged from the court by the bailiffs, whatever. Those will be instantaneously transported, I believe, from where you're standing at to damnation. Let that sink in. Instantaneous, just like a snap. You don't make it in the book of life, you don't pass judgment day, you instantaneously go from there to where in front of being judged by God to damnation for eternity. Eternity. It's not like a prison sentence that sometimes you may get parole. There ain't no parole. There ain't no parole from hell. Once you're in there, you are locked in there for eternity. Never ending. Constant torment. That sink in. Constant torment. You're not going to get a break. You're not going to get a lunch break. There ain't no lunch breaks in hell. There ain't no vacations in hell. It's constant 1,000% on your back, on your neck, tormenting whatever Satan can think of. That's your torment for eternity, never ending. You can't die. It's just forever. Just thinking about that, and my mind can't even wrap around it. That's just the human side of it. But to think about that, what that really means, that the weight and gravitation of that really means, man, it should make everyone who believes in God, who doesn't believe in God, especially those Christians, live a better life, myself included. We all can do better. We all can be better prayers. We all can be better teachers. We all can be better believers. We all can live a more righteous life, but we let some of these issues and problems and distractions of this world take us off the beaten path. But we got to ask ourselves, whose house do we want to live in? Do you want to live in the devil's house, which we're in right now here on earth? Or do we want to do the right thing and make it to God's house? I definitely want to do the right thing and make it to God's house. If you read the book of Matthew, the 7th chapter, 24 to the 27th verse, Jesus uses the image of a house built on a rock. Now, the rock represents obedience. If you live in an obedient life, then you'll get a strong house. But if you build your house on sand, which represents disobedience, then it's going to fall down. When you die, you go in front of God to be judged, and your name's not in the book of life. You have built your spiritual house on sand, on disobedience, and not honoring God, his word, his doctrine. You don't want to find yourself in that situation. Matthew 27th chapter, 24 to the 27th verse, uses that illustration. If your house is built on a rock, that's obedience. Sand, in this particular metaphor, in this particular example, is disobedience. A lot of us are living in disobedience and are building our spiritual houses on sand. Don't do that. Now's the time to replace that sand with strong rock, strong foundation, strong spiritual foundation. So when the day does come, when you're in front of God and Jesus is going to be either taught for you or not taught for you, he's going to say, yes, he is or she is welcome. No, he or she, I don't know who they are. I don't know who they are. They never called on me. They didn't live the right life. You don't want to hear those words. In closing, I want to say this quote that I heard, and it says, creative people don't follow rules. They don't necessarily break the rules, but they almost always make their own rules. Let me say that one more time. Creative people don't follow rules. They don't necessarily break the rules. They almost in always situations make their own rules. And my challenge to that is, don't be a creative person and make your own rules and find yourself in hell. A lot of creative people are going to find themselves in hell trying to create new rules, new loopholes to try and circumvent God's word. Don't be one of those creative people that find yourself creatively in hell. Don't be one of those creative people that find yourself creatively in damnation. Don't be one of those creative people that find yourself creatively not listed in the book of life. Just my 2 cents on that. I hope that what I said today will resonate with you. And if this is the first time you're seeing this channel, seeing me, please subscribe to this channel. This year, I'm trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. Right now, I'm about at 1,604, 1,605. It fluctuates, but I want to get to 2,000 subscribers. I can only do that with your help. Please share and like this video. Share with your friends, your cousins, your co-workers, anyone that believes in God, anyone that wants to listen to a positive version, a positive person speaking on God's word and God's doctrine. Please send this to them. Thank you all for supporting me and for listening to me. Any comments that you leave, I definitely will listen to them. I will read them. I will respond back to you. Any kind of criticism will be read, will be quoted on, positive or negative, any kind of criticism. If you see something I can improve upon, please let me know in the comments. If you think I'm doing a good job, give me a thumbs up. Hey, good job, whatever the case may be. All criticisms will be accepted. So until Friday, I hope you have a fantastic week. Hope that you stay safe, stay prayed up. And until Friday, have a good day, good week, and God bless you.
Danny Graham, he speaks so clear. Love thy neighbor, hold them dear. Bible wisdom every day. God's own path, the only way. On the road to wisdom right. Follow God through darkest night. Bible's words are guiding light. Marching forward with his might. Hear the stories from above. Jesus' power, pure his love. Trust in him no matter fall. Grace is here for one and all. Oh, in his might. On the road to wisdom bright. Follow God through darkest night. Bible's words are guiding light. Marching forward with his might.